So plant breeders specialized in development of new plant varieties with improved characteristics. So it means their goal is to combine as many useful characteristics as possible in one plant. But these are for various purposes. So for farmers, these characteristics may be disease resistance, drought tolerance, and this is basically help to overcome some of the challenges which climate change and also growing population means. But for consumers, they may include nutritional quality, flavor, or appearance. And for food manufacturers and retailers, they may be include their baking quality or shelf life. So there are many aspects that plant breeders need to take into account when they are developing a new variety. So plant breeders make use of genetic diversity in plants to select and crossbred those plants that combine the best characteristics. And by doing so, plant breeders create ever more genetic diversity. This is also coming from a kind of accumulated knowledge because today's plant breeders integrate knowledge from a range of scientific disciplines such as plant biology, genetics, physiology, statistics, and molecular biology. So breeding programs are often managed by a team of scientists from many different fields of expertise. So to develop new varieties, plant breeders use a variety of tools ranging from crossbreeding to gene editing. And indeed, gene editing is one of the latest methods in their toolbox. And this is a method that enables plant breeders to make precise changes to the plant genetic material, which can improve their productivity and sustainability. These often mirror changes that could occur in the nature or through traditional plant breeding. So when a plant breeder edits a plant's DNA, it's pretty similar to editing text on a word processor with two functions, find and delete. So sentences of DNA are like sentences of words that can be deleted, replaced, or added and result in a change in meaning. What is very important to highlight here that editing tool acts within the plant cell's own material. So there are no foreign DNA is inserted to the plant. Therefore, gene editing develops plants which are similar to those that could have been created through traditional breeding methods. Even if it's a relative new area for the regulators, as visible on this map, many countries enacted some policies on genome editing. So the first group of countries, which are marked in green on the map, took a positive decision, meaning that those varieties and products that would have been achieved by the means of traditional breeding methods are not fall under the biotech and GM regulation of these countries. Although the approach is different in these countries. For instance, in Latin American countries or in Japan, there is a consultation procedure takes place where developers need to consult with the regulatory agencies on a case-by-case basis to determine the regulatory status of certain products. While in other countries, such as in the US or Australia, there is an upfront exemption from pre-market assessment for certain category of products. The second group of countries marked with yellow, there are discussions between developers, regulators, and the general public, but these discussions are still underway, and we currently don't know that what will be the final direction they will take developing their policies. And finally, there is a group of countries where restrictive decision was made, so it's red countries on the map. What it's important to note here that in these countries and in the European Union in particular, these are the result of the implementation of the current legislative framework. So these are not a political decision. And it basically shows that the current legislative framework is not appropriate to regulate or deregulate the latest breeding methods. That was basically, these methods emerged way after that these policies were adopted. So as a result of this, there are discussions underway in these countries. So hopefully the regulatory framework will be revised soon, and it will be changed for the better. Yeah, seed business. It's a global business. It's genetic material, seeds, but also the products resulted from the seeds are globally traded. So therefore, it's easy to understand that inconsistent policies could put an overly high regulatory burden on companies, because they have to do product approval differently in different countries. So, and in the end, this high administrative and financial burden could limit the utilization of the latest breeding methods only to the largest companies and high value crop. So it means public research, small companies, less valuable product will be greatly restricted to use these new methods, because currently what we see, it's like many public research are involved, academia, international and national public research institutes are putting great effort for this technology. But if the regulatory framework will be a kind of patchwork of regulation, the high administrative burden and financial burden won't make possible to use these technologies for this group of stakeholders. And obviously, as a consequence, this will greatly limit the seed sector capacity to innovate and reach the aforementioned sustainable development goal and combat climate change. The outreach is still remains important, especially in those countries where the policy development is underway. So it's the yellow countries in the map. So yeah, we planned a series of international workshops during the spring and summer period in these key countries to meet with the regulators, with the players of the seed sector and other stakeholders. But obviously, because of the COVID-19, we had to cancel these workshops. So what we are trying to do now, we try to do these meetings by electronic means, such as webinars. So we already completed one in China yesterday, and today there is one in Taiwan, and perhaps in August there will be one in Korea. And obviously we are teaming up with the local partners, such as the respective national seed associations in the countries, but also international partners such as CropLife International, American Seed Trade Association, or Euroseeds, and others.